Hey everyone, welcome to the Arai News Live. I'm your host Brian. Welcome to the channel. We appreciate you taking your time to visit with us. A little housekeeping to get started before we get forward. First, today's guest via Zoom is six-time champion Jeff Stanton. The guys have asked me to give you a little bit of information before we get started. Basically, first and foremost, the live chat is on. So feel free to make comments, but hold your questions till the end because we won't be answering questions until the very end. So hopefully we'll give you some things to think about and create a question for us at the end. As many questions as we can get to, as much time as Jeff has, and then we'll see what we can do, what we can get to. Our plan with this series is to host a live broadcast once a month, every month, with racers, guests from the industry, our peers, and also technical information, basically anything that you guys might want to hear. So please feel free to make suggestions on things you want to know about technical or information, or suggest on guests that we might be able to get. I can't promise anything, but we'll try and get them. The next broadcast is tentatively scheduled for November 11th. That's a Tuesday at 8 p.m. Now, best laid plans of mice and men. So if you're not already subscribed, subscribe so you get notified if that schedule changes. But if you want to be notified and you want to follow our series, please subscribe. It'll help us grow the channel. Also, we've done one live stream before this. It was our test. It was last month. We had Nick Einach from the Yamaha Champion Riding School, along with Sean Dillon Kelly and Chris Ulrich from the X-Star M4 Suzuki team. They were here live in the studio. As much as possible, we'll get people live in the studio, but it's not always possible. Everyone's scattered around the country, and of course, with the current situation, we have to kind of all not get together so much. So, having said all that, I'll check with Jeff. Are we good to go? All right. So our Jeff said we're good to go. So we'll bring in Jeff Stanton and start talking a little bit. Jeff, are you there?
I am.
All right. Welcome to the show. It's been a long time. I haven't seen Jeff. Full disclosure, we spoke for about 3 minutes before we started to make sure, we remembered things correctly. And, he's not mad at me. I didn't do anything bad because my memory's terrible. And I've been tied behind a desk for 15 years, so I haven't been at a race in forever. So Jeff, I did a quick background check to make sure I had some of the information about you, and your handle or your Instagram is six-time. So you're a six-time national motocross supercross champion.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All with Arai, and I'll kind of advance your history. You got in front of you there. Okay. I've been with Arai since 1986 is when I first started wearing Arai helmets, and gosh, they've been a great sponsor of mine. Not very many motocross racers can say they've been with a company since 1986. It's showing our age, my age, and maybe yours as well, Brian. I'm sorry,
it's okay.
A great relationship that we've had for so many spectacular years. It's been a good ride.
It is rare in motocross. I remember, back in the day, I started with the Arai in '84. So I beat you by a couple of years, both in age and with the Arai. But yeah, you're one of the unique few. We have a few in road racing that have been with us from that long or that far back. But it's incredible the experience we had. Again, six championships, two outdoors and supercross. And let's see, you did 88, 89, both, and you did the Motocross the Nations both of those years. I'm sorry, it's 89, 90, and then 91 you did Motocross the Nations alone, and then again in 92 you did the outdoor, indoors, and the World Supercross Championship. I read an article, you went to Europe quite a bit because they were really quite eager to have some big names race at their international events.
Yeah, that's when those invitational races were huge over there. So we'd do the whole Supercross season here, all the outdoors, and then we'd go to Europe and race another 10 to 12 races. You go to Barcia, race 4 nights a week. You go to Milan, you race, Supercross, and I did that whole Masters of Motocross series. And so, gosh, we would race, like I said, another 10 or 12 races over there. So the exposure was great. And then, of course, two races in Japan. I loved going to Japan. obviously Arai was huge in Japan, and the Japanese people just loved you. And so those were always two big races that I enjoyed doing. You know, the Tokyo Supercross, Osaka Supercross. I did a couple of GPs there. And so the Japanese fans were awesome. And, of course, all the Arai folks over there treated us super spectacular as well.
Yeah, it's we're still pretty big in Japan too. So, and then I'm going to check real quick. You were in fact World Supercross champion in '92 as well. And then I think I read an article recently that you said that you believe there were a couple of years there that you literally did 2 full seasons in a single season, 2 years in a row.
Absolutely. There was 2 years where I did over 50 races a year. So, like I said, you go to Barcia, you race 4 nights a week. You know, that's 4 Supercrosses. You'd race Thursday, Friday, have Saturday off, race Sunday, Monday, something like that. But you'd have 1 day off in 4 races. So, and you know, quite honestly, the payday was so good that we had no choice. You had to go over there and race it. So, people say, why did you quit so young? Well, man, when you do 50 races a year, throw all the travel in, all the training in, all the racing in, the bottom line is I just got burnt out. Just taxed yourself.
Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, I work a full day and I'm tired, so I can imagine what you went through. But I remember you were an Ironman. You used to work out, and in the article you also spoke about your stamina was what got you through a lot of things. You said you weren't the most technical or best rider, but because you were prepared, you actually were able to succeed.
Absolutely. It's noted I wasn't the most talented by any means, but I made up for it in hard work, and Ricky Carmichael was much the same way. He would tell you that, he wasn't the most talented guy on the bike, but his work ethic, he made up for it. And that's the way I was. I was just a fat farm boy from Sherwood, Michigan, and didn't have the skills. I learned to adapt, but I was super fit, and especially for the outdoors, it paid off for me for many years. That's
awesome. I remember, way back in the day that when it was hot, there were guys like hiding in their motorhomes, and you'd be like, no, you got to stay out and stay in the heat and stay in climate. Otherwise, you mess with your body getting cold and hot. So I remember that stuck with me while I was in the air conditioned building.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to run down a little quick. So in '94, you retired, but you stuck on with Honda for 10 years as a consultant, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And then,
I was in a good position with them, and we had a bunch of young, great riders, and they asked me just to come on and, help train these guys, work with them at the races. And so for 10 years, I flew to all the races and worked as a consultant, worked with with Jeremy McGrath for his championship run. And then we hired Ricky Carmichael for quite a few years to come to Honda and worked with Ricky. There was just a bunch of great guys, in between all of them. And so, yeah, it was a good run. And then the bottom line, my kids got older. I was missing their sporting events. They were super active at home. And it's like, okay, enough's enough. Your kid's only young for so long. And so I basically hung up my boots from traveling and was home more. And so that led me to starting some stuff back here. Yeah.
I was going to say, and then, so I'm going to run quick. You were inducted into the Motorcycling Hall of Fame in 2000, Red Bud Track Hall of Fame in 2002, Daytona Speedway Hall of Fame 2006, and then also you run the XR Single Shock and Dual Shock class winner that year as well. So you were still racing. You got back to racing a little bit. You just couldn't stay out of it, just kind of playing.
No, dude, it's in your blood. I mean, I was in a cab for 2 months this year because you just can't give up racing. I went to Daytona and did the vintage race at Daytona after the Supercross this year, racing vintage bikes, and my son and I enjoy riding all the time. So it's in your blood, and I keep in tune, ride once a week. 5 months. We race every third week, 3 or 4 weekends, and so. It's in your blood. You just keep doing it. I train. I just got done riding a bicycle 30 miles here tonight. And so I train, I ride, keep in tune, and it's still enjoyable, and I'm doing it.
Cool. So, quick, going to go down more accomplishment. In 2008, you got the Mickey Thompson Award of Excellence. So you're still getting, accolades even after having retired, 14 years earlier. And then in 2012-14, you contracted to be Justin Barcia's private trainer. So obviously you came back to do that. And Justin is currently wearing an Arai, has been for the last few years, and was during his most of his amateur coming up. How was it working with Justin?
Oh, it was awesome. We went for a while, and they called me, and my kids were in high school at that point, still athletic and playing sports, but it was a blast. I love Justin. He's it's almost like my son. Spent so much time with him, and I just love his mom and dad. Super fun people to be around, and I miss not being there for him. And this year, the last couple of years, he's done a great job there, and so super pumped to get him back in an Arai and representing Arai. So it was fun. Justin's super talented, and he's put the fitness into it this year. Racer X called me the first part of the year. They said, "Who's your pick to be Supercross?" I said, "Dude, I'm picking Justin Barcia." Okay, he's happily married. He's in a good spot at Yamaha. He's fit. He's trained, and then he comes out and starts a year off with a bang, and then he goes as I would like. But I'm excited for him for next year. Something new with the sponsor that he has next year, and I hope he can make a couple more solid year run at this championship.
You and me both, absolutely. So after that, like 14, you opened up the Stone Barn, your wedding and event facility. So do you enjoy hosting people and hosting events?
I do. So basically, I was done with Justin, and so I'm like, really the reason why I was done with Justin is because I was at a wedding, and it was in a barn here in Michigan. And so the whole time I'm sitting at this wedding, I'm looking around. I'm like, on the way home, I told my wife, I said, "Honey, we got a barn that's sitting empty. Are you kidding me? They're getting $8,000 or $9,000 for the day to rent out a barn for a wedding? I'm doing it." She said, "No, you're not. No, there's no way. You're not doing it." I'm like, "Dude, I'm doing it." So yeah, we've had a super successful wedding venue for 7 years now. Basically every weekend. And so it's actually been a super fun project. I tell my wife every weekend, what business can you own where 99% of the people are happy, laughing, and crying, at a wedding? Nobody's bitching and complaining about the food or complaining about this or complaining about that. So it's been a super fun project. Listen, I don't deal with the bitchy brides and all that. I have somebody that takes care of the barn for us, but we're there most every weekend, and it's been a super fun project.
Oh, it's funny. I'm glad you explained it, because I was going to ask you how your wife talked you into it, but apparently you were the one who came up with the idea. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then we jump forward. I'm gonna just keep moving here, because I don't want to take too much of your time and give people a chance to ask questions in a little bit. But so in 2020, we had the Moto Fight Club. It was kind of a cool, with the pandemic and people stuck at home, somebody had a great idea, and you guys jumped on it. I mean, in a matter of a week or 2 weeks. I don't know exactly how long it took, but kind of, how did that go down? What did you think? How did that play out?
So Rob Vitus is the kingpin there. Obviously, everybody knows that now. And he's been telling me for a couple of years. He's like, "Dude, I got this company, this Moto Fight Club, and we can put on any event and pay-per-view it, and we can make money, we can raise money, we can do whatever we want." And so he calls me when all this COVID's going on. Nobody's racing, no car racing, no road racing, no motorcycles. He's like, "Dude, this is the time to do it. Let's put it together right now." And so I'm like, "Okay, I'm in. I'm old, but I'm in." He's like, "We'll get Damon Bradshaw in. We'll get this person and that person." And so, man, before I knew it, it was a full-on 10 guys. And we put it together, and it was. Are you still there?
Yeah, you broke up just a little bit. So, but you're back. There you go.
I feel like I'm losing. I can't hear you now.
Yeah, you're kind of a little glitchy, but I think we're okay now. Can you hear me now?
There you go. Are you there?
Okay.
Am I good?
Yep. Now we got you back. All right, cool. Live. You gotta love live.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Bob's like, we need to pair this person up, and so basically we got 10 guys to commit. And so Rob's like, I got this private location somewhere in Ohio. Let's get all these guys together, get committed, and let's put this together. And so Rob's the one that put it together, 10 guys committed, which I'm like, I'm not going to commit unless Pastrana commits, because that's our draw. You know, Evan Pastrana, they're our draw. They're going to bring the people in. And then it's funny to hear the flip side of that. Travis is like, I'm not doing it unless Jeff Stanton, Dame Brad, because they're the draw. They're the ones that's going to sell the thing, you know? And so it was cool to see the different perspectives. And once we got there, we all had a great time, put on a show. You know, people hadn't had anything to watch. And so, you know, we had a couple of hundred people watch that event, and it was a real cool deal. It'll probably be successful again, you know, now because everybody's back to racing. But it was just perfect timing for the racing season came back in, you know, NASCAR and motocross, and perfect storm, and it was a fun project.
Cool. Now, you raced a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke in that?
I raced a 2-stroke.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? Let's bring back this. Let's bring back the sound of smoke, and so I got a super good 2-stroke, and so yeah, I raced the 2-stroke, and it was a blast. I loved it.
Cool. Yeah. No, I read articles, and you're a 2-stroke guy. You won all your championships on it, and you're not a great fan of the 4-stroke as far as, you know, what it represents. My son, 16, 17, he loves 2-strokes, but it's hard to find them these days. And you can't afford a 4-stroke most of the time, you know, on a lawnmower salary, a lawn boy salary. So he loves 2-strokes. So I just was wondering if you stuck to your 2-stroke guns there. That's cool. So
yeah, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I ride a 4-stroke. You got to be in with the times. I still enjoy riding my 4-strokes as well. But I just thought, you know what? I tried to get Damon to ride a 2-stroke too, and he wasn't willing to jump back in age because he's been a 4-stroke guy for too many years. But it was fun. It was a fun project and successful. We raised a bunch of money. We auctioned off, you know. It's one thing to point out, all the money for the helmets went to one cause. All our goggle money went to another cause. And so we raised, you know, another $40,000-$50,000 for some special charity, which that was awesome.
That's awesome for something that just came together at the last second, and a bunch of guys just, you know, came over and had a good time. I'm assuming everyone had a good time.
Absolutely.
So, and usually when we get racers to come back and do something like that, and they ask for a helmet, of course we want to give you a helmet. We always try and get your graphic, but it was such late notice. You gave us no time at all. We couldn't do your graphic, so we got you. I think you wore a Nicky Hayden 7 replica for that event.
I did. And which super successful. I mean, I signed the auction the thing off, and it raised like $30, and so obviously cool. With Nicky's whole deal there, it was super cool.
Cool.
Hey Brian, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
We got somebody else logging in on the call over here.
So yeah, our Jeff here is telling me we've got a party crasher calling in on the call. He's going to pull him in a second, see who it is. Or maybe not. It's live. You know, you never know what's going to happen live.
Hello.
Hey. Oh. Hey,
Can you hear
Justin.
me?
Yeah. What's going on?
Just out at the track, the service is awful. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. So we appreciate you calling in. That's really cool. We're talking to Jeff here, Jeff Stanton. I was actually just talking to him about. He did the Motocross Fight Club, and we couldn't get him his replica in time because they gave us such short notice, and it got our Jeff here talking to you because you knew Jeff a long time, and he trained with you, and you guys came up with an idea. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was super cool. Obviously, me and Stanton have been friends for a long time and trained together, and just kind of go way back. So when Jeff at Arai said, "Hey, Stanton's got this replica coming out. Will you wear it?" It's like, obviously, I'd wear it. I was stoked on it, and it's obviously a really sick replica. So yeah, so pretty much the last race. Unfortunately, I didn't get to race, but I rode practice in it, and it looked really good. So that was awesome.
Yeah. We tried to get you to wear it in Detroit and have Jeff go there, but then the pandemic hit and the schedule went crazy. But we put together and had a Barcia Stanton replica put together. So it's Jeff's last replica that we had done, the really splashy one with Justin's sponsors on it and both names. Are we up and playing with it? So the helmet's up and rolling. So that's what Justin was wearing this past weekend. And I think it looks actually really, really cool. So we'd love to hear the comments from folks and what you guys think about the graphic. And if you guys think it would be a cool replica to bring back, we're bringing back a lot of the historic replicas. Please let us know. The factory is going to watch this. Mr. Arai is going to watch this. So depending on your comments and how much interest we get, we might be able to bring it back and release it on the new VX Pro 4, minus the sponsor logos, of course. But it was a cool graphic. I think it was the very last championship year replica that we did. What do you think, Jeff?
Oh, I love it. I think it's awesome. I just practice and posted a picture. I think of one of my old helmets yesterday, and people are just like, I can't wait. So I think people are stoked on it and bringing back a little old. Obviously with the new helmet, it would be awesome, be a success for sure.
No, yeah, it looked good, I look at it now, and it really fits today. I mean, it's 30 years ago, but it still fits really well. So I think it would do really well. So again, I implore our viewers to comment, and it's never too late. If you're watching this after we do the live stream, feel free to add comments. We'll watch and look back, and we'll count them all up. And if we have the opportunity, I would put my 2 cents in and encourage the factory to release it. And then maybe we can even get Justin to wear it again, now and then. So I'll just put it here for you guys to look at. So cool.
There it is. So let's hear from Justin. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I was like I said, for me, my style has always kind of been a little bit wild, and I should have been racing when you were racing, I think, because I was so into those crazy paint jobs, and you guys banged bars so hard back then. I feel like I would have fit right in way better. So the helmet for me was the helmet for me was perfect. I like that, the paint splatter, the bright colors. That's my style forever. So yeah, definitely stoked on it. I think it needs to come back for sure, 100%. It looked great this weekend, goes with the gear good, and the wild stuff for me is the way to go.
No, it's awesome. Well, we really appreciate you doing
How are
that,
you feeling?
Justin.
What have you been up? What are you? Oh, no, Justin, how are you feeling, and what have you been up to?
Yeah, doing good. Definitely. Unfortunately, Colorado, I was having a good race, and just hit a big kicker and banged myself up pretty good. So it was definitely a bummer. Tried to go out and practice, obviously. Qualified like 8th, and I just knew, I didn't have, what it took to, run up front on the weekend, and it was super disappointing way to end the season. But for me, I'm back in Florida right now. It's been a while since I've been back in Florida. I've been, in California, pretty much put full effort into testing this year and getting the bike as good as possible to, take a run at that championship. But, unfortunately, things didn't work out as planned. But, good to be home right now. I'll be home here for a week, and then driving the Sprinter van back out to California on Friday. So a lot more work to do since Supercross is coming here. We only got about 2 months. So, busy times for sure, but definitely really excited for what's going on.
So do you want to talk about what's going on? Can you talk about what's going on yet?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, unfortunately, no, I really can't still talk about what's going on, unfortunately, with contract things and stuff like that. Can't really say what's going on. I think a lot of people probably know what's going on with, some new teams and things like that. So, yeah, here at the end of the month, we'll be able to announce some cool stuff, and definitely really excited about it. It's, for me, it's been a long 3, 4, 5 years with the same brand, and put in a lot of work, a lot of dedication. My fitness has been great over the years and things like that. Just we've had race wins and we've been competitive for championships in the beginning, but we always kind of fell short in some ways. So for me, the future is definitely looking really excited and just ready to get back to work. It's weird being home and I'm kind of chilling out, not doing much, and it feels weird. I feel like I need to get back to work, so I'm excited.
Awesome. No, and I can appreciate not talking about it yet, but we're excited for the future and hopefully get a couple of solid years here in the future. I'm not getting any younger, but like I said earlier on the show, Racer X called me. They said, "Who's your pick for 2020?" I said, "It's Justin Barcia." He's on a good bike, I figured he was comfortable there, and it's just his time. And so then you start out the year the way you did, and I'm like, yes, I'm looking good. So, but it's solid year, but I'm stoked for you for the future, for the next couple of years, and yeah, hopefully we can put it together.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. We've obviously had a long history. We know each other well, and I know I have what it takes to do it. Just need all those pieces to fold together right in the right place, and it's looking like everything's going to work out here for the next 2 to 3 years, and definitely just want to go for those championships. Obviously, that's what I've been trying to do, but just need those puzzle pieces to come together. So yeah, super stoked, and I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, good deal. Well, we know you're busy. Let's see. You probably haven't gone to dinner yet, so it looks like you're just fresh out of the shower. So it's probably just dinner time. So we'll let you go and get back to dinner. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for representing Arai for the last how many years and so.
Yeah, no, I've been with Arai for a really long time. They always take care of me really well. Obviously, you've worked with them in the past and still do in the future. And the helmets are awesome. Obviously, paint jobs are sick. I have my own replica as well with the frog and that crazy style. So yeah, I was stoked to wear your helmet, and hopefully they bring it back. And appreciate everybody, and have a great night.
And stop testing helmets.
All right, buddy. Thanks
testing.
For coming on. We'll talk. Sarah, I'm at Sarah's work, and she's dropping in the back.
All right, cool. Well, I'll take my show back. So thanks, Justin. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Sorry about that, Brian.
No worries.
Take over.
You just hijacked my show. It's okay. That's cool. All right, man. Have a good dinner, Justin.
Hey, well,
thanks. See you guys.
Nope. Cool. All right.
Hey, so let's talk about Jeffrey Carver for a minute. How about that?
Yes. It is nice that somebody went out and broke that juggernaut that was going on and just rolling over everyone. So it's nice to break in.
Did you watch it? Did you see the highlights?
I did not.
I was just pumped. I know Jeffrey Carver's been a long time Arai guy, so I was just pumped to see him and his crew chief Brian Bigelow win that race and do it with great style. Come from behind, past two of the best guys, Jared Mees and Bauman. So I was pumped for Arai and Jeffrey Carver to win that race last weekend.
And he I remember he won a race a couple years ago doing the same thing. Came out of nowhere. I mean, just chased everyone down and chased. I mean, they weren't slouches and they weren't having bad days, and he chased them down and won. So it's remarkable what he can do. I wish he could just put it more and more of them together. But it has been great working with him, and it's always nice to get that kind of surprise when you think it's just getting kind of boring and kind of predictable. It's really nice when it happens this way, and it's really nice when it's an Arai guy. So I really do appreciate that kind of racing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. I know he's been a long time Arai guy, and dude, I love dirt track. I mean, it's no mean, everybody knows that when I was racing, I would leave the Daytona Supercross and go watch Chris Carr and Scotty Parker at the dirt track. I love watching dirt track racing, especially when it's good racing like it was this past weekend. Yeah. There is nothing better. To heck with the Supercross, watching a Supercross, you give me a good dirt track with some battles, I love it.
It is quite remarkable. My wife loves dirt track. We've been married, since '92, and she loves it. And it's one of the most remarkable forms of racing. I mean, it's kind of like NASCAR, but elbow to elbow, 150, 60 miles an hour, going into a turn sideways, four side by side in a group. I mean, the trust level, the danger factor, but the excitement, it never lets you down. Rarely does it ever let you down. So it is probably the most remarkable racing. I've always loved it. I always think it's grassroots, and it never fails to deliver. So it's been where we kind of started, and we never stopped doing dirt track, even when it kind of fell off radar for a while. And now it's come out strong. AFT's done a remarkable job pumping up dirt track and making it a interesting sport to the masses. It's actually brought a lot of people, which is awesome. It really deserves that kind of attention. So, and it's nice, again, when one of our guys wins in such spectacular fashion. So I appreciate you bringing that up, being a motocrosser. It's nice to know that you watch, dirt track as well.
Oh, absolutely. I watch it every week. I just love it, especially when there's some good battles. So, yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Well, I know we're going to run out of time with you as well, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I did want to touch on one other thing. You're in 2021, you're launching a new venture, and it's actually Jeff Stanton Adventures, basically an adventure touring company with full support and sponsorship with Triumph Motorcycles. Tell us a little bit about that.
I am. I've had this passion for, a good 5 or 6 years. And, Michigan is so beautiful. The northern part of Michigan and the upper peninsula is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous, especially this time of year in the fall. And I've had this vision, and it's something that I wanted to do. Adventure riding's kind of, not to throw motocross under the bus or anybody else. Adventure riding's kind of the new where it's at. It's that 50, 60-year-old man used to race that still wants to ride. Wants to get an adventure bike and go hang out with a Jeff Stanton, a Ricky Carmichael, and do a 5-day point-to-point ride or a 3-day point-to-point ride. And so I've just been struggling with it for a few years. Triumph called and said, hey, we want to expand. We got a great product, a Tiger 900 adventure bike. We want to showcase it. We hear you want to do an adventure deal. We want to back you. And so I couldn't turn it down. Somebody that wants to give me product, showcase their bike, put people on their bike, ride it, and keep fresh product. It was a win-win for myself and for Triumph. And so I'm excited. Just getting the website together now. I did a bunch of video last week with all the fall colors here in Michigan. I hope to have the website up and going and the calendar laid out by the second week of November and start this thing in 2020. So it's one that I want to do in the spring. I want to do it late spring, and I want to do it 3 months in the fall when Michigan is most beautiful. I want to showcase the lakes, the Upper Peninsula, the bridge, and just the northern part of Michigan is all state forest, just fire roads. One fire road to another, over bridges and over the Mackinac Bridge up into the UP. The UP is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous this time of year, and do 5-6 day adventure rides.
Cool. So that's awesome. So we're going to put a link in the description. Do you have a website address yet?
I have a website address, Jeff Stanton Adventures, and it'll be up and going. Fully for business, and all the video and how it's all going to be laid out by the second week in November.
Awesome. And then with that, so you're going to go point to point, 3, 4, 5 days. You're going to do like any fishing and anything else, kind of throw it in the side there?
So this is what I'm going to do, because I believe there's people out there that don't want to ride for 5 days. So you're going to be able to sit in front of your computer with your son, your wife, however you want to do it, and pick your dream vacation. So in the fall, if your passion is to ride for a couple of days and then go do a fishing charter on Lake Michigan and try to get into some salmon, you pick your dream vacation. So I'm hooked up with fishing charters for the big lake, fly fishing for some of the best fly fishing that Michigan has to offer. If you want a pheasant hunt one day, you want a deer hunt one day, you sit in front of that computer and you lay out your dream vacation of what you want to do. Because I believe there's diehards that want to do a 5-day point ride. You know, they want to ride 100 miles, 150 miles a day. But I believe there's guys out there that want to ride for 2 or 3 days and maybe go kayak. You know, the Pine River in Michigan is one of the most popular rivers to kayak on or canoe on. I believe there's guys out there that will want to kayak for one day, ride one day, fishing charter one day, ride the next day. So you sit in front of the computer, you tell me what you want to do, and we'll go do it.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm one of those. I like riding, but yeah, I need a break in between now and again. I've done some pretty long rides, and then it can be fun, but with what you just described, you can't not take a break and do something and take advantage of where you are. So that's awesome that they can build it exactly the way they want. That's great. So the website's going to be up second week in November, you said, first week in November.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is actually the first time I've even talked about it. It hasn't really even been discussed. I've just been putting it together here the last month, and so super excited to get it out. I think it's going to be super popular. I'm just going to lay kind of out the weeks that I want to do it, and I'm sure those will fill and maybe fill in some summer gaps. But I don't want to do it when it's hot and dusty and riding and eat everybody's dust. I really want to do it to showcase Michigan and what Michigan has to offer. And really, the spring and fall is the best time to do that. Cool.
We might have to do a corporate event, have Arai come up and check it out, do a little shakedown test for you, and help you break it in. Maybe we'll get some of our guys together. Maybe even get some guys from Japan to come on over and enjoy the beauty.
Yep. Absolutely, and I honestly feel that that'll be the biggest sellers is Europe and Japan and other countries that will want to come over and do it. And so really I'm still in the price point looking at Ben Townley's got a super successful one over there, and so I'm looking at the price point of where Ben's at and where other guys are at and getting all that stuff figured out right now. You
cool.
got to keep it. I got to keep it in the ballpark with everybody else.
Sure.
So. But most importantly, I'm pumped to have Triumph aboard. I've been riding their Tiger 900 for the last 2 weeks, and it's super great adventure bike. I mean, they got the adventure riding figured out in Europe, and so the goal is to sell them a bunch of adventure bikes here in the States and to showcase their product and really to showcase Michigan and just come hang out with Jeff Stanton for however long you want to do it. I'm going to do a 3-day ride and do a 5-day ride. You want to come sit around the campfire with me and tell stories and we can lie to each other for 3 days. I'm all about it. Let's do it. And the other key point is I'm going to do it small. I'm going to do 4 to 5 people at a time, no big 10, 20 riders. I want people to feel like they left Michigan. They enjoyed the Triumph. They loved Michigan and they loved hanging out by the campfire and going to dinner with Jeff Stanton and spending a quality 3 to 5 days.
Well, and remember, Pastrana said you're the money draw, so you could feel okay to jack it up a little bit for your value-added participation.
It's funny to hear both sides. I don't believe that that's true at all. Knowing how many followers he has and how many followers I have, I know he's the money draw there.
Well, he's out there shaking it a little bit more than you are, but yeah, I think there's still enough people out there that would love to lie over a couple of beers with you. So that sounds like a lot of fun. So we're definitely gonna have to check it out, squeeze us in, and once you start booking, we're gonna have to make sure we get in there before you sell out. And I don't want to do summer either. I've done some events in summer which are fun, but it is brutal. So, but cool. So that's awesome. We our second live broadcast, and we have earth-shattering breaking news. So that's actually really cool. So the link's going to be in the description. If it's not there now, we'll get it in later. So please check it out, everyone. And I guess we have some time for some questions. Do we have any? If you want to do it now. So okay. So I guess we've probably answered everyone's questions. So we've covered it all. I tend to talk a lot. I let you talk more than I think I've let anyone talk in any of my conversations. And it was cool that we had Justin in there. And it was cool that you took it over a little bit and talked to him. So that's cool. You guys get a chance to talk. anything that I missed that you want to talk about or cover or bring up, or that I overlooked?
No, I appreciate what Arai has done for me for so many years, and I tell people that I'll make a post, an old helmet or something, and talk when they send me 2 Nicky Hayden helmets. I'll make a post saying, "Hey kids, this is what it's like to establish a relationship and keep that relationship for so many years." It's so important, and some of the young kids don't realize that. I'll go out there and say I've got the same relationship with Bevo Forte, which was Scott USA, which is now 100%. I've been with Bevo longer than I have been with Arai. So those relationships, for any of the parents that are listening and the young kids that are listening, establishing in those long-term relationships and keeping that relationship and that communication for years means way more than a couple of $1,000s switching halfway through your career for a few bucks. The long term is just the best way to go about it, and so I appreciate all those relationships that I've had with those great companies like yourself and Bevo with Scott, and now 100%. So I'm always stressing on that and spreading that love and trying to get that youth to realize that how far that goes, really. So I appreciate everything your family has done.
No, we appreciate your loyalty. I mean, it's true. The relationship of basically, we have a vested interest in your protection, and that personal relationship and the personal feeling of responsibility. Giving you a helmet that is going to protect you. And again, no helmet's perfect, and we know that there's a crash out there that can overwhelm any helmet. But knowing that Mr. Arai and his family put everything they can into protection, and the relationship with a rider like yourselves, we've been together so long, you're family, and we worry about family. And when it's no lie when Mr. Arai says, I worry about the riders who wear my helmet. I wear the exact same helmet they wear because I want to be protected. I want to give them the same protection I give myself. Take great, responsibility for that. And again, knowing that we can't protect everyone in every scenario, it weighs heavily on us. So to have a loyal relationship with someone like yourself that trusted Arai with your protection for all those years, and we can continue to work together, and through your adventure, we're going to provide helmets. So obviously we want to keep you and your riders comfortable and protected. Everyone will get a chance to try the new Triumph and the new Arai XD series. So that'll be kind of a cool continuation, and hopefully we can bring some new riders into Arai and Triumph and continue hopefully helping people understand the value of that relationship, the people behind it, and the purpose of a helmet, and it's for protection. And you really shouldn't, everyone has to equate dollars to everything. You have to pay for something, but we believe Arai, you get what you pay for. You get more, I believe, than what you pay for. So I appreciate you posting it and talking us up and relaying that relationship. It does mean a lot. We really do appreciate that. It's so much more coming from someone that doesn't have to say it, hasn't been actively sponsored. So it's really nice, and I do appreciate that, and I'm sure Arai appreciates it as well.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'm always trying to preach to the youth that that loyalty means a lot more than a few bucks, for sure.
No, it's awesome, and I do appreciate that. It is a lesson we try and share. It's difficult, but because fashion sells. Colors, shiny, cool, trendy stuff. It's very distracting, especially to youth. I was one once, long time ago. So I understand, and I appreciate you making the effort to help us make people understand a little bit more about what's important, basically. So with that, I really do appreciate it. It's been about 45 minutes, so it's right about on time where we expected to be, which is rare considering how much I can go on and on. Really do appreciate you coming on, letting us break the news on the new Triumph Jeff Stanton Adventures. Look for the link, look online, book it soon, but don't book them all. We need to book one. And we'll be in touch soon. Hopefully you guys stay safe, and if I don't talk to you before the holidays come around, make sure you guys have a good holiday season. All right. Thanks, Brian, and appreciate everything you guys have done. And
yeah, we'll look forward to spreading the news and keeping everybody safe. So thanks for having me on, and good to talk to everybody, and good to talk to you, and be safe. Thanks again.
Super, thank you. And everyone watching, we really appreciate you taking the time to watch. We hope you'll subscribe, check back in, check our other videos that we've done in the past and going forward. All our videos will stay on the YouTube channel. Again, thank you very much. Stay safe, and we'll